Hello again, everyone. This is KMN 1971, back again with another comic book haul. Starting off this week with another connecting cover. It's going to be a bummer next week. I don't have any more connecting covers, but unless another one falls in my lap. And it's kind of funny that Batman Superman versus Superman connecting cover cost me like 40 something dollars. And the last two connecting covers, the JLA, JSA connecting cover, and as well as this connecting cover, came out to a grand total of $2.50. Now, these two connecting covers, I'm not really sure what they go for as a set, to be honest with you. I looked on eBay and saw what they're going for or what people are trying to charge. I don't know if they really go for that, but these are definitely a great deal to find them in a dollar bin. Also in same said dollar bin, XMen number 96, part of the Apocalypse the 12 storyline, which those variants were also from. And here's the standard cover of X-Men number 97. And also X-Men 376, Uncanny X-Men 376, and Uncanny X-Men 377. For some reason, these Apocalypse the 12 issues are supposed to be low print run by X-Men standards. And I'm from the generation, I just love picking out X-Men issues out of the dollar bin. It's great. Possible speculation alert. This is Wolverine, let's see if I can pronounce this correctly, Sadade. I did not know what that word meant. It means a nostalgic, melancholic longing for someone or something. And the emphasis on this book, not the emphasis, but the importance of this book, or potential importance, is that it introduces a character named Andre Mexer, who was basically a one-off character for this story. But recently, I read an article on Bleeding Cool where an ex-editor basically let out a PR release asking who is Andre Mexer. So this book can be found relatively cheap, but all the cheap copies on eBay, as far as I know, have already been snatched up, and people are already trying to charge 20 bucks for it. So if you can see it, if you can find it out there, I would pick up Wolverine Sadad. I haven't read it yet, but I've heard good things about it. Okay. Next group of books. I am a huge Batman fan. I'm also a huge fan of intercompany crossovers, where you get to see basically a hero that doesn't interact with other characters that aren't under the umbrella of their publishing company. So this is Batman Aliens, and it's written by Ron Mars and drawn by the great Bernie Wrightson. Here is number 2. Two of my all-time top 10 favorite characters, Batman and Daredevil. This was just basically standard superhero team-up stuff. Nothing too spectacular. And the same with this. Also, two of my top 10 favorite heroes, Batman and Spider-Man. Now here's where it starts to get pretty good. Batman and Deathblow. I'm not sure if the Wildstorm characters had already been purchased by DC at this time. I'm pretty sure they had. But you didn't really see DC and Wildstorm characters interacting very much. And this was a pretty original team-up. I won't spoil it for you, but it is written by Brian Azzarello and drawn by Lee Bermejo. I can never pronounce his name correctly, but they're a great team. And any Batman story written by Brian Azzarello, I would recommend. Here is number 2. And number 3. Another great cross-company team-up, Batman and Grendel by the great Matt Wagner, number 1. And number 2, which I was psyched to pick up this year, once again, out of a dollar box. That is the never feel too, I guess, quote unquote, stuck up to go diving into a dollar box. The dollar bins, depending on your store. So, yeah, some stores it's just garbage and it's just image and 90s stuff. But other stores, man, I am surprised by the things that I constantly pull out of dollar bins. And that's half the fun of the hunt. And my favorite crossover out of the bunch was Batman Planetary, written by Warren Ellis and John Cassaday. If you ever wanted to see John Cassaday draw Batman, here's the book to do it in. Or to find it in. I have a hard time. I don't know why I film these videos an hour after I wake up. It would be weird if I could actually talk consistently during one of these videos and be coherent. Okay, All-Star Squadron number 47. This next section of books showcases my appreciation for two artists that just blew me away in the late 80s. And that would be Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee. So Todd McFarlane started off at DC Comics. They didn't realize what they had, and he ended up going to Marvel. But he started off on Infinity Inc., All-Star Squadron, and then they elevated him to a short arc on Detective Comics Year 2, where he finished it off at Alan Davis. And I believe he did like a couple of issues of Invasion, and then luckily for him, he went over to Marvel Comics, and he did this fill-in issue of Daredevil number 241, which has this awesome Mike Zeck cover. And then on to the Incredible Hulk, where he really made a name for himself. That's Hulk number 333, 334, and I still need his second issue. I forget which issue it is to complete my Todd McFarlane, Peter David Incredible Hulk run, which is one of my all-time favorite runs on the Hulk. And then he eventually made it to Amazing Spider-Man, and then his solo Spider-Man title, which he wrote to some degree of success, and just drew outstanding. And this was actually the last issue of his Amazing Spider-Man run that I needed. So now I need a couple of upgrades, like 303, 304, and 305. I could upgrade those to better condition, but it's great to have finally complete my Todd McFarlane Spider-Man run. Also coming out around the same time as Todd McFarlane was blowing us all away, Marvel also signed this other cat named Jim Lee. And Jim Lee, before he destroyed it on the XMen, he had a short run on Punisher War Journal. So I'd already picked up Punisher War Journal number 1 out of a dollar bin box probably a couple of years ago. And I kind of forgot about this run. And then one of my local comic book shops had a half price sale, and all of these were like $2 a piece. So I figured, why not? So here's Punisher War Journal number 2, guest starring Daredevil. Number 3, also guest starring Daredevil. Anytime you can get Jim Lee on a Punisher book and drawing the Punisher and Daredevil in the same book, that's a good thing. Number 4. Number 5. And number 8. I already had the issues, I believe 6 and 7, where it's the Punisher versus Wolverine, which those books were, they're not expensive by any means now, but those books were really hot back in the day. And still worth owning, just for the fact of, I mean, even if they're not worth that much, they're still great books to own in your PC. Okay, whoops. Time for a little DC Girl Power. Now, there's a couple of modern series that I like to collect, and Power Girl is one of them. I only have like maybe 6 issues out of her first ongoing series, but it's definitely a series that I'd like to finish off. So here we have Power Girl number 3, Power Girl number 17, Enter Batman, Power Girl and Batman. Cool, worth the price of admission right there. Number 24. And number 25. There is just so much going wrong on that cover. A lightning bolt hitting her near her boob window. I mean, even Batman looks embarrassed to be there. And then Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern, that constant reminder of how things can go wrong. Badly. The Huntress, #1. I would recommend this book. This is a cheap Batman character first appearance. This is the first appearance of the second Huntress, Helena Bertinelli, I believe her name is, and the one that is currently appearing in the Birds of Prey and the iteration used in the New 52 and Rebirth. So you can find this book for like under $4. I think it's a pretty good first appearance to pick up. I know I'm biased because I'm a Batman fan, but nonetheless. Action Comics, $8.94. I've seen this touted as the first DC Universe appearance of Death, and I don't know. I bought it because obviously I've become a Sandman fan recently over the past couple of months, and it's an outstanding David Finch cover. But when Sandman started, before it went Vertigo, in those early issues, it was definitely rooted in the regular DC Universe. So I would figure her first appearance in Sandman #8 would be her first appearance within the DC Universe, but I don't know. Whatever people decide. And either way, it's a great issue to have. Deathstroke the Terminator, #15. This was the first appearance of Rose Wilson, the Ravager, the second Ravager. Great book to have. I used to own this before, and I ended up getting rid of my Deathstroke, of most of the books that I had in the 90s. So I got rid of this volume. I ended up picking this back up. I regret it a little bit because I ended up paying, eBay average of $13, $14 for this. And of course, in true fashion, I ended up finding another copy for like $2 or $3 that's coming in the mail. And for what I paid for this book, I ended up getting 3 comics for the price of this one. But hey, whatever. It is what it is. You can't win them all. And I'm still happy to have it. And it's not going to totally break my heart to have 2 copies of the first appearance of Rose Wilson. Character that I feel has a lot of potential. This is straight mainlining some of my inner childhood with you guys. Back in the day, The Electric Company, Sesame Street, and Doctor Who were a regular part of my diet when I used to watch PBS. Yes, PBS back in the day. After school, when I'd wait for my parents to pick me up at my grandmother's, PBS was on, and those were my jams. Love Doctor Who, and I have especially a soft spot for this iteration of Doctor Who. This is my generation's Doctor Who right here. Jelly Beanie, you got it. So when I saw this for $5, I had to pick this up. This is the first American comic book appearance of Doctor Who, which leads me to believe that he must have appeared, across the pond in jolly old England in a comic book appearance over there. But I'm very happy to have his first American comic book appearance. And I didn't even know I wanted it. Okay, getting on to some of the good stuff. Moon Girl and the Devil Dinosaur, #1 variant edition. I guess this book has become hot for some reason. So I read about it, and I like a first appearance. This is the first appearance of Moon Girl. I forget her real name. I'm sorry. And I just picked this book up yesterday for like $11, and I guess it goes for between $30 and $60 on eBay. I guess she's supposed to have a pretty prominent role, or maybe Devil Dinosaur is supposed to have a pretty prominent role in Marvel's Monsters Unleashed crossover that'll be coming up. But I figured why not for $11, a rare first appearance variant cover. I figured it was a good pickup. And right here is the book I'm probably happiest about in this haul. Marvel Premiere, #3, Doctor Strange, Master of the Mystic Arts. Done by Stan the Man Lee and Barry Windsor Smith, who is in my top 10 all-time favorite artists, and the art in here is spectacular. Has a little Marvel chip right there, but other than that, it is a sweet, sweet copy, and it only cost me $20. So yeah, pretty cool. Now, in the spirit of Halloween, we have a little Halloween horror-themed comic books. I thought it would be a little bit bigger of a haul. I still have a couple of more books coming in the mail. So, bad news is you won't see them this week, but the good news is you will see them next week. I picked this bad boy up yesterday. Swamp Thing, number 10, from Volume 1. I have all of the Alan Moore issues from Saga of the Swamp Things, and I end up, I do own all of the Scott Snyder run also, so I have a good run, a good chunk of Swamp Thing. But as far as the first volume goes, this is only my second issue. I have kind of a beat-up copy that needs to really be pressed. I have the first issue, and this copy right here is very fine, and for $5, I snatch it up. Classic Swamp Thing going against Anton Arcane. And as you know, I am a huge Tomb of Dracula fan. So, one of my my honey holes has a run of Tomb of Dracula with a good portion of the run being like $5 a pop and fine plus to very fine condition. So hopefully now Tomb of Dracula will be an on again, off again title appearing in my hauls for a little while. I would like to regain. This is a haul that I used to own back in the day, and I sold off. I'll probably never own number 10. I love Blade as a character, but just I don't like him that much to pay that kind of money for that comic. Tomb of Dracula number 55. Love that cover. That's some classic stuff right there. Number 54. Number 44, and as I said in a previous video, anytime Doctor Strange and Dracula throw down, I want in on that action. So, Tomb of Dracula number 43, and number 15. And as I said, anyone that collects Tomb of Dracula knows these are not. This is not a cheap series to try to collect and complete. So anytime that you can find them at a decent price, and a decent grade, at least a fine plus to a very fine, if you can get them under $10, I'd say that's a pretty good deal, man. So I would pick them up if you dig old Bronze Age horror. It doesn't get much better than Tomb of Dracula. All right, let's get those out of the way. Continuing on in the Halloween tradition, Werewolf by Night, number 16. And I'm really psyched to get these next three early Werewolf by Nights. Werewolf by Night, number 6. This is a super high grade, too. It just amazes me anytime I find books this old in this kind of condition. Great stuff. Mike Plug artwork. Here is Werewolf by Night, number 5. And ended off with Werewolf by Night number 4. Now I almost have the first full year of Werewolf by Night, as well as his all 3 of his Marvel Spotlight appearances, which, considering I just started buying Werewolf by Night a couple of months ago, I'm pretty happy about that. So that's all I have for this week. I will be back next week, same comic book time, same comic book channel. And I hope you all have a great time out there this week. Have a great Halloween, a safe Halloween. And let's come back here next week, hang out, and ramble on about more comic books. What do you say? Thank you all for watching. Thank you for the new subscribers. And yeah, that's about it. Have a great one. Take it easy.